Hey, what's going on, fragrance family? This is Tyler with Simply Fragrances, and today I'm bringing you 10 niche fragrances that are super long lasting and project like monsters. So if you want to see what these fragrances are, be sure to keep it right here. Alright guys, welcome back. Like I said, my name is Tyler. This is my channel, Simply Fragrances, where we talk everything fragrance related. We're doing top 10 videos, seasonal videos, interviews, weekly fragrance rotations, fragrance reviews, everything that encompasses fragrances you can find right here. So if that sounds like something that you want to be a part of, be sure to hit that red subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. And if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for the love and support you have shown this channel. So, like I said, I'm bringing you 10 10 niche fragrances that are long lasting and they project like beasts. So let's go ahead and get into this, guys. These are in no particular order. These are just 10 fragrances that, at least off my skin, they project very well, they're loud, they make their presence known, and they last a good amount of time. So first one on the list, like I said, no particular order. These are all niche, by the way. So this comes from the indie niche house of Parfums Vintage, and this is Rush of Unicorns. Now, the reason I picked this over Millisum Imperial is because, I mean, obviously that's what this is copying, or, you know, a rendition of. But with the newer batches of Creed's Millisum Imperial, it's, in my opinion, this is my opinion, it's not worth picking up. They don't last very long, they don't project very loud. I do have a vintage bottle right there. That's a 15X01. You know, it's expensive, so if you want to go and fork over $300-$400 for something like that, it's going to last, you know, 7-8 hours and still smell like Creed's Millisum Imperial, by all means go ahead and do that. Or for about 120 bucks, you can get Rush of Unicorns for a 3.4 ounce, and it doesn't smell like 100% the same in the opening. It's, you know, a little synthetic in my opinion, but the dry down, you definitely do get that Creed's Millisum Imperial vibe. So if you like Creed Millisum Imperial, but you don't want to spend, you know, $200-$400 trying to get a vintage batch, I definitely think Rush Unicorns is going to be the way to go. Like I said, I'm getting, man, like 10-12 hours depending on how many sprays I do, and for a fresh citrusy type of fragrance, that is absolutely amazing. So Parfums Vintage Rush of Unicorn definitely had to make this list. All right guys, so the next fragrance on the list might seem a bit unusual just because it is a more fresh fragrance, but guys, I kid you not, I'm getting 12 hours of use off of this stuff. I spray it on my hand, you know, before I go to bed often, and I'll wake up the next morning, I can still smell it relatively strong, and I'll wake up, you know, have to shower, and even after the shower, I don't know, maybe it's just my skin, maybe there's something magic to it, but guys, I'm talking about the Soft Lawn from the House of Imaginary Authors. This is one of my all-time favorite vetiver fragrances. It is vetiver and grapefruit heavy in the opening. You do get a little bit of oak moss, and the notes are right here. So you get linden blossom, grapefruit, laurel, ivy leaves, oak moss, vetiver, and then obviously the imaginary note is fresh tennis balls. But the main factors you're gonna get is the grapefruit and vetiver. And for whatever reason, this just, it works off my skin. I wore this yesterday, and I was filling up the area around me. My buddy Austin said that I smelled, you know, really good. So good stuff, guys. Projects like a beast. I'm getting, like I said, you know, anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, maybe a little bit less depending on how many sprays that I do, but I often will spray this on my hand, like I said, to go to sleep in, wake up the next morning, still smell it relatively strong, and even after I shower in the morning, it is still on there. So the Soft Lawn 2.0, it's, you know, kind of been reformulated. Definitely recommend this if you haven't checked it out. And just as a whole, the House of Imaginary Authors, you guys need to check them out. They got some good stuff going on over there. Alright guys, so the next fragrance we're going to be talking about comes from the house of Parfums de Marly, and this is an amazing, amazing fragrance, guys, especially for the springtime. This is Pegasus, guys, and I gotta say, I love this fragrance. I need to give it more wear. I have been wearing it just a little bit more lately, and guys, the main factor you're gonna get off of this is that creamy almond note. There's a bit of a, you know, a floral vibe to this, but it's mainly about that creamy almond. Very authentic, you know, realistic almond. I love this stuff, guys. My wife loves this. I've gotten a couple of people onto this fragrance, you know, in my own close circle of friends. And guys, I'm talking 10 to 12 hours. At least that's what I'm getting off of my skin. This stuff is absolutely fabulous. Kind of unique. Doesn't really smell too much like anything, but this stuff is absolutely gorgeous, guys. Parfums de Marly Pegasus had to make the list. All right, guys, so the next fragrance on the list that, in my opinion, it projects off my skin like a beast and it lasts a good 10 hours. I'm kidding you not, guys. This stuff is absolutely amazing. I've talked about this quite a bit in the past, haven't talked about it too much, just getting, you know, new stuff in all the time, trying to, you know, wear different stuff, but I always find myself coming back to Bond number 9, Bleecker Street. This stuff is absolutely amazing, guys. Got that fresh cut green grass vibe in the opening. You do have that blueberry note that's in there, and you get some cinnamon, vanilla, oak moss, violet leaf. Guys, this stuff is just amazing. I love it. It does last all day on my skin. Like I said, I'm getting anywhere from 10 to 12 hours, which is why I made this list. At least off my skin. You know, mileage may vary per person. I know some people say they don't get the best, but I really do get a good 10 to 12 hours off of this stuff. Wore this the other day. I could smell myself all throughout the day. It doesn't project, I would say, after about, you know, 3 to 4 hours. It does sit a bit closer to the skin, but if you get in a good, you know, arm's length within, you know, someone's distance, then they should be able to smell you, or at least the scent trail that you're going to leave as you're walking behind you, they're going to get it and notice it, guys. Bond number 9, Bleecker Street, had to make this list. All right, guys, so when we talk about long-lasting fragrances, this is no surprise to anyone. At least from what I've heard, everyone gets really great projection and really good performance off of this, guys. This is Baccarat Rouge 540 by Médecins Fraiches Cardon. Man, this is just a stellar fragrance, guys. Very, very unisex, almost leaning kind of feminine, not gonna lie, but off my skin, it does go a bit more woody, and so it doesn't smell quite as feminine, but it's been labeled like the cotton candy fragrance or the burnt sugar type of fragrance, and I can definitely see that. There's a lot of saffron in here, some jasmine, white florals, a lot of woody tones in here, and it's just a great, great fragrance, guys, especially for the springtime. I'm probably gonna wear this weekend. I haven't wore it in a little bit. It is a bit expensive, so you know, we're talking $200 plus, but it is definitely worth it in my opinion. I'm getting 12 hours, maybe even 14 hours, depending on how many sprays that I do. I know for a fact last fall when I wore this, I had to scrub the stuff off of my skin. I went to a fall feast. You know, I celebrate the feast days in the Bible, and I spread it on at like, I don't know, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we didn't get done till almost midnight, and this stuff was still pumping off of my skin. Sounds crazy, guys, but this stuff is a beast. Baccarat Rouge 540, definitely had to make this list. All right, guys, so the next fragrance on the list is a house that I've talked about before. I've raved about their Ruby and Vanilla Intense. Not sure what that was. Sounded like some sort of decant fell over, so that's cool. But it is a house that I've talked about, like I said, Ruby and Vanilla Intense. This is actually their newest one. They did send this to me, so I need to get my review on this going, but this is from the house of EBK, and this is Ruby and Vanilla Neroli. And so much like the name suggests, it is going to be a very neroli heavy fragrance. At least that's how it comes off on my skin. I talked to Greta about this fragrance, and she absolutely loves it. The performance on this is absolutely phenomenal, stellar. This stuff is second to none, guys. This is projecting a good arm and a half length out for at least an hour and a half, 2 hours. It's gonna be easy on the trigger with this one, and then even after that 2.5, 3 hour mark, it still is projecting a good 6, 7, 8 inches off of your skin. So if you're gonna be in an indoor, you know, close quarter environment, you know, maybe be a little bit easier on the trigger, but guys, I'm getting 12, 14, 15 hours. It's absolutely insane. This stuff is a projection monster. So if you guys haven't checked out the house of EBK, definitely recommend it. It is kind of a, you know, citrusy, vanillic, woody, spicy type of fragrance with a lot of neroli in this one, as the name would suggest. So it does lean a little bit feminine, but you know, in the right environment, right kind of t-shirt, something like this, I do think that, you know, a man can pull it off, and especially for the springtime, guys. EBK Ruby Vanilla Neroli. All right, guys, so the next fragrance on the list should come as no surprise. I love this stuff. This was my scent of the day. Even after I've showered, I can still smell it. It's just, it is magic in a bottle, guys. So shout out to my good buddy George over at the house of Zaharoff. This is Zaharoff Signature Rosé. This stuff has been hyped up to the moon and back for a good reason, guys. This is absolute magic in a bottle. If you don't like rose fragrances, this is the one that I think will do it for you. It is such an amazing fragrance. Like I said, this was my scent of the day. I got so many compliments off of this. It's just elegant, classy, sophistication, guys. Great bright fresh rose fragrance, not super jammy and thick and oody like some of the rose fragrances that you might be thinking of. It doesn't really lean super feminine, doesn't really lean super masculine, but I would put it on more of a masculine style rose fragrance, if that makes sense. But super bright and fresh. It does have a bit of a woody, kind of a thick, I don't want to say juicy, but for lack of better terms, juicy type of rose in this stuff, guys. It is absolutely amazing. Now, what's crazy about this fragrance is it's not going to be just this projection monster, but it does last a good amount of time on my skin, 8 to 9 hours. But what's crazy about this, and everyone I've talked to has said the same thing, as your skin starts to heat up, the oils in here start to reactivate. So I kid you not, guys, I've gotten 24 hours of use off of this stuff because I'll come home late, you know, from going out or whatnot, and then, you know, I'll sleep, and then as I wake up and I start to shower that next morning, the hot water starts to reactivate those oils, and it literally is like I just sprayed this stuff, guys. This stuff is absolutely amazing. Zaharoff Signature Rosé had to be on this list. The next fragrance on the list, you know me, I couldn't not include a barbershop fragrance. And for it being a fresher, more citrusy, kind of vanilla type of barbershop fragrance, you wouldn't think that it lasts that good, but I'm getting 9-10 hours plus off of this stuff. It is absolutely amazing. One of my all-time favorite fragrances. It's in the top 3 all time. I don't know if we'll ever have a favorite fragrance of all time, but if I did, this would be in the running. This is Gravitas Pour Homme from our very own Dan over at Mr. Smelly 77. This stuff is just awesome, guys. It is a happy fragrance for me. It is amazing. Classic barbershop fougere type of fragrance, but does have a bit of a modern twist. You do have a bit of a vanillic dry down here with that orange blossom in the opening. Got the ambergris to kind of give it some legs and staying power. It is just an amazing fragrance. Creamy lavender in here. Phenomenal fragrance, guys. 9-10 hours plus. Gravitas Pour Homme had to make the list. All right, guys, the next fragrance on this list, I mean, it is just perfect for the springtime. I don't reach for it as much as I used to, and I need to get back into doing that. It's from one of my favorite houses. I need to explore this house so much more. There's at least 5 or 6 fragrances that I want to get from them, guys. What house am I talking about? What fragrance am I talking about? This is Beach Hut Man from the house of Amouage, and as you can see, I've put a little bit of a dent into this. It's good stuff, guys. Like, I know it gets kind of polarizing reviews, but shout out to Justin, Stay Fresh Productions, for putting me onto this. It's kind of a barbershop-y fougere-like fragrance, kind of gentleman style, but it's just this very green herbal style fragrance with a bit of a mint note in the opening. I'm pretty sure there's star anise in here, and so it kind of gives it this licorice type of vibe to it. Very unique, very polarizing, honestly. Either you love it or you hate it. I do love it. I just haven't been reaching for it as much, but I think I'm going to start doing that, depending on a buddy of mine. He might be, if he likes it, might be looking into buying this, so we'll see what happens. But Amouage Beach Hut Man, I'm getting literally, guys, 14 hours off of this stuff. It is just a projection monster. I'm talking even 7-8 hours into this fragrance, I'm still getting compliments. I'm still getting people noticing this. It is just, it's an amazing fragrance, guys. Amouage Beach Hut Man had to make the list. Alright, guys, so we're down to the last fragrance on the list. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate that. And again, I didn't want to do too many barbershops on here, but I couldn't help it, guys. It's springtime, and what better list for this, guys? Spring is just evocative of the barbershop fragrances here in southern Missouri. It gets a bit too hot, humid, and thick to wear in the summertime, so spring and fall time are my go-tos for, you know, the barbershop fougeres. And this one, I get really great performance off of this. Mileage may vary depending on the person, but I really do get good performance and projection off of this, guys. Coming from the house of Creed, and this is Creed's Viking, and this is one of the few Creeds that I would still recommend even with the newer formulations. This is an 18G01, just happens to be an older batch. I actually prefer the 17 batches. It's a bit brighter in my opinion. This one, it's just a bit thicker, a little bit more musky in my opinion, but rose and mint are going to be what you get off the top on this fragrance, and it's fantastic, guys. I love this. It's been compared to like a Old Spice, like a niche Old Spice, and I can definitely see that, but there's a bit more to it than that, guys. It's just this great spicy, woody, dry down as the fragrance dries down, but like I said, opens up, you get that fresh rose and mint in here. It's just like a classic barbershop fougere type of fragrance. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm getting anywhere from 9 to 10 hours depending on how many sprays I do. I have been known to do 7 or 8 sprays if I'm going to be out and about, you know, in the outdoors, and you know, obviously I'll get a little bit, you know, more projection, a little bit better longevity off of it. But like I said, Creed Viking, still one of the few creeds that I would recommend even in the newer formulations. I don't think it's been tampered with too much. So Creed Viking definitely had to make this list. All right, guys, so that's gonna do it for this video. Sorry, it's a bit of a long-winded video, but all these fragrances, at least off my skin, I'm getting great projection and great performance off of. So if you haven't tried any of these, definitely recommend sampling. Some of these are kind of polarizing, so definitely always recommend sampling before blind buying. But hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I've been known to blind buy stuff on the whim, so you know, I won't hold it against you. But be sure and comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the list. How are these fragrances on your skin? Do you guys get good projection? Do you get good performance? What is your experience with these fragrances? So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. I'm gonna catch you on the comment section. I'll catch you on the next video. And remember, if you love it, wear it.